I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, May the 2nd. Happy birthday to my only sibling, my older sister Sheila. Brought to you in part by VitaFerm. VitaFerm was developed to promote effective, easy breeding when given to your cows. Give it 60 days prior to calving and then 60 days post-breeding. That'll keep your cows conceiving on a regular basis and easily. But for more information on VitaFerm products, go to VitaFerm.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards, a little bit lighter run for them. It's actually muddy in some spots around Beaver, Oklahoma, which is on the eastern end of no man's land, or your Oklahoma Panhandle. Lord provided some rain for them. A lot of places just got a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain, but talking with Lane Conkle there, and he said that there were several places that got an inch, inch and a half. The most rain that they have seen there in recent memory, but they were sure glad to get it. And they're going to have about 2,000 head for the regular Tuesday cattle auction on there. Said they'd have 400 to 500 calves, a lot of 4 to 6 weight calves, and maybe a little over half of them would be weaned. They are going to have 50 to 100 head of those 2 and 3 weight calves that are pulled right off the cow, like they've kind of been having here the last couple of weeks because it's been so dry there. He said they'd have about 1,500 head of yearlings, 12 plus load lots of 750 to 1,000 pound yearling feeder steers there, at least 5 loads of 7 to 9 weight heifer yearlings there as feeders. They have a few grazers in there, a few stocker type cattle in the offering, but a pretty typical type offering for them. He said in the cow run they would have kind of a stick out deal, be 18 head of young Hereford pairs, and they've been bred to black bulls. They've got black baldy calves on them. He said they are as fancy as you can get anywhere. Probably sell them all together. But check out Beaver County Stockyards on dvauction.com here today on Tuesday, or get your order in there to Beaver County Stockyards. Grass is behind schedule in almost everywhere that I talk to. And you know, a lot of places like your northern plains, upper Midwest, maybe on your eastern corn belt, they've had plenty of rain and got wet conditions there. We had so much snow in the northern plains that it's causing flooding coming down the Mississippi River there as it's starting to melt, or melting pretty briskly right now, and just more than they can take all at once. Going to have some good subsoil moisture there, but it's just been cool, and it has been not much sunshine there, so the grass is behind schedule there. Of course, down in the southern plains, you look at your drought monitor and it's right over Kansas, guys. From central to western Kansas, down over your Oklahoma Panhandle, even though they got a little dab of rain there, over most of western Oklahoma. It's just been too dry to really have any grass growth there, and it's been cool in those areas too. Talked to them in central Missouri, which you don't usually see that. And you guys know that I lived in Missouri for 15 or 16 years, and typically when I was backgrounding cattle there, you could not overstock those fescue pastures. You could put them in those pastures like you put them in pens most places, and in this time of year the grass is growing so fast because it's still cool, and that fescue is a cool season grass, but you'd have ample moisture, and you just wanted them to stay after it and get it eat down to keep it tender before it gets too rank, and then they don't really want to eat it after that, or you have to come in there and clip it to make the cattle kind of go back to it. But not hearing that out of central Missouri this year. Talking with Jack Harrison that owns Callaway Livestock Center in Kingdom City, Missouri. That's right in the center part of the state right there, just east of Columbia, Missouri. And he said it is dry in there, and they don't have much grass. He said they are selling a lot of cows. Had another 450 to 500 weigh-up cows at their sale on Monday. They've got a special bred cow sale on Thursday evening, like they do once a month all through the year. Said they were expecting at least 1,000 head of bred cows and pairs. He said people are just having to sell them. They don't have anything for them to eat, and they can't afford to shut them up and feed them, guys. So it's dry in that area. Not used to seeing that really. But the southeast, I was down in the southeast over the weekend and talking to the guys out there. They said the grass is way behind down there. It got warm late in the winter, and they started seeing that grass kind of come around, and then they had a real cold snap there in the early part of the spring, which they don't normally had, and it set their grass way back. So they haven't had the grass that they thought either. On the short grass, where the ryegrass, where they had some of those yearlings turned out, they ended up getting some decent gains on them on that short grass. And you usually do get good gains on short grass because a lot of times if it gets too rank, it just goes right through them. But on the bad thing on the short grass, if you run out, then you got no groceries for them. But this grass is really behind schedule. Guys in the Flint Hills are worried. Some of them are worried they don't have enough pond water to hold the cattle. Some guys saying that it's just dry and the grass is not coming as fast as what they would like it. Many of the guys in the southern part of the Flint Hills are down into the Osage saying they only got to turn out half as many cattle, and some guys didn't turn out any cattle at all. But they have had a good rain around the Tulsa area, which is not too far from there. We're getting some rains. We need more timely rains. But the grass is just behind schedule, and it's got everybody in the cattle business kind of worried. I've had several people ask me why I haven't mentioned anything about the Brian McLean deal. And I didn't know Brian McLean, and I hate to talk about him because he's no longer with us, and kind of a tumultuous type ending there. But it was another one of those deals where a guy got in over his head, or an outfit got in over their head, got behind on the number of cattle that they had, and it's going to end up costing a lot of people a lot of money. And we didn't think it was quite this big originally, but from what I'm hearing, I can't confirm any of this stuff, but they're saying by the time it gets all totaled up, it might be nearly as big or even bigger than the Eastern deal whenever it went down several years ago. But a lot of sale barns in the Kentucky, Tennessee areas did not get paid for their cattle. Some individuals that cattle were bought in the country didn't get paid. He had feeding facilities, feedlots here in the middle of the Texas Panhandle in the Hereford area, but he was better known back east than he was here in the Texas Panhandle. But the guys that I talked to around here that know the deal with 7M Feedlot and McLean Feedlot say that it doesn't sound good either. But I tell you what, don't know many facts about it, just other than the fact that it's happened and that he's no longer with us. I did listen to a podcam, I guess that's what you call them, but a podcast, exactly, that's what it is, a podcast about the Easter Day deal. It's called Ghost Herd. If you guys want to listen to it, I kind of recommend it. It's kind of interesting to listen to. Kind of repeats itself a lot, but it is interesting that somebody did from NPR there. But check out the Ghost Herd on your podcast there. But those are just bad deals that happen. And I don't know, what kind of rules we can put in. LMA's helped to put some deals in. We'll see how well that works with the dealer trust. But just not sure how you can be protected. Just whenever somebody's growing really, really big, really, really fast, or a cattle investment sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Let's talk about your board for Monday to open the week out. It was lower, guys. All your cattle futures were lower. And didn't make a lot of sense. Of course, it never does. But June live cattle futures down 60 cents at 164.87, and a 5-area weighted average for last week's negotiated established fed cattle price is 177.15. So a $12 plus basis there, guys. and the basis is the difference between the cash price and the spot futures price. August live cattle down $1.12 at 160.265, and then your back months were down 37 cents to down 70. Your feeder cattle for May down 127 at 209.70. Still a big premium to what your index levels are, especially your CME cash feeder cattle index, which is seeming a little bit light there, but we never know really how far behind it is, but it is really lagging back there. But so it doesn't bother me that your spot May feeder cattle is down when it's still trading at that much of a premium. August was down 62 cents, but still trading at 230.10, which sounds really good on an 800-pound grass steer coming off in August or September there. Your back months on feeder cattle down 55 cents, down $1.25. May corn was up 3.5 cents a bushel at 639.5. December new crop corn down 2.5 at 525.25. It's getting down there kind of reasonable, guys. If we can get some cattle bought that are going to be fed mostly on the new crop, and we end up having a pretty decent harvest, man, that is going to be a great deal, because I feel like that our cattle prices are still going to hold in there, guys. May soybeans up 10.5 at 14.54 3/4. November new crop soybeans up 11.5. So up and down all the time, volatile, drive anybody crazy. But November beans ended the day on Monday at 12.75 a bushel. Weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle price in your 5-area feeding region, based on 70,800 head of sales in your 5-area. 62, that compares to 62,500, which was really light the previous week. And then a year ago, this past week, it was 119,800 head sold negotiated. So we actually sold roughly 50,000 less cattle in your 5-area this past week than they did the same week a year ago. About 52,000 nationwide. How these packers expect to keep up with the product that they need, I don't know, on lighter carcasses. I think we can get the momentum back, guys. You got to hold your ground. Don't give in, and get the momentum back. Don't keep giving in. Don't take lower money for the 3rd week in a row. My goodness, on positive fundamentals. But your weighted average, or your price range last week in your 5-area feeding region direct was 171 to 183. About 246 head at 171, about 1,235 at 183. It was mostly 173 to 180. Your weighted average was 177.15. That was down $1.42 from the previous week. Your dress sales ranged from 275 to 287. That was only 77 head at 275. 320 at 287 was mostly 178 to 180. Actually, it was mostly 280 to 286, 283 to 286, excuse me, on a dress basis there. But that 1 to 3 lower on your price spread on dress prices. Weighted average on dress steers in your 5-area feeding region, 284.05, down 337 compared to the previous week. In the Northern Plains, your market was $2 to $5 lower, from 178 to 180. Dress sales were 1 to 4 lower, from 283 to 286. Southern Plains was $2 lower at 173. Nationwide, negotiated sales last week, 83,600 compared to 73,800 the previous week, and 135,500 the same week a year ago. Like I said, 52,000 less cattle your packers bought negotiated last week than the same week a year ago. They're hand to mouth, guys, and you got to take advantage of that. But the heck of it is, of the 83,600 last week negotiated, 43% of it was set up for the 2 to 4 week delivery, and that's almost 36,000 head. I don't think they can wait that long to pick them up. I think they'll call for them before that. But you can't keep selling them out front, guys. It gives them a foothold. It's basically a captive supply for them. Make them pick them up within the next 2 weeks. Negotiated grid total was 37,200. Forward contracts for 20,000 last week. Formula sales last week 256,800. Regionally, of course, we don't know what goes on in Colorado, but in Iowa last week they sold 30,000 head. How they keep finding finished cattle in Iowa to sell? They have just purged and purged and purged cattle out of the Iowa feedlots there, and they're bound to be done. And most of your packers think that they're going to all of a sudden magically show up with a bunch more cattle here late this month. I doubt it. Nebraska 23,700, pretty decent movement for them on a light run. Kansas only 12,400, and Texas only 4,800 head. Ridiculous. Texas, all the feedlots. You go down Highway 60, go across Highway 54 up through Texas, Oklahoma feedlot areas. Only 4,800 sold negotiated cash. I think Texas A&M is right, and by 2025 there will basically be no negotiated cash in Texas, and we can't get the price discovery and transparency bill put through to hold some minimum limit on it. We're just going to lose it. What are cattle going to be worth in Texas? Whatever they want you to take. Box beef cutout values were mixed. Choice was down on Monday afternoon, down 142 at 310.02. Selects was up 266 at 291. Slaughter a little bit off what we like to see at 123,000 for Monday. Talk about what else is going on. Night Latch Group, Western Oklahoma, Andy Cunningham there. He wants you to hold on to your investment. He can help you do that through livestock gross margin policies. And you can also get subsidized to pay the premium on those guys. And you can manage your corn and your cattle risk all at once with one easy policy there. Get a hold of him at nightlatch.net. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV Auction. Late in the day on Monday, sitting at 205.24, up 31 cents from the end of last week. Real-time index, guys. Gaining ground. The feeder cattle market is good, staying good, getting better, continuing to. Oklahoma National Stockyard, 7,000 head for them. Feeders were steady to $4 higher. Had a few true stockers as much as $8 higher. Steer calves $4 to $9 higher. Spots as much as $11 higher. Lightweight heifer calves weighing under 5 or 2 to 3 higher. Heavier heifer calves $1 to $4 lower, but a good sale there at Oklahoma City. Joplin, 8,600 head. I thought our receipts were supposed to be lightening up. 8,600 in Joplin. So far for this calendar year, Joplin's volume of receipts are up 35% compared to last year. Why? Because they are selling them so good and so efficiently, getting a full market for all the cattle. The market on steers was $2 to $4 higher. Heifers were fully steady. Don't forget, Joplin's got a special cow bull sale with lots of pairs and fall breds on offer. Got several breeding bulls on offer. It's going to be $430 here on Wednesday. Joplin was also your Zoeta stick-out sale of the day with really good tests of a lot of different weight groups here. Check out this automated market report through Cattle Market Central. Go along with me. This is the market in the lower Midwest and the Southern Plains, guys. This is the market. 667 head of 4-weight steers, average $455, weighted average price $254.33. Almost 900 head of 5-weight steer calves, average $551, weighted average price $242.03 on all of them. 586 head of 6-weight steers in Joplin or Carthage, Missouri, average $638, weighted average price $227.95. 577 head of 7-weight steers, average $753, average price $206.88 on all of those. And 775 head. When do you see a sale that's so well tested in all those weights? 775 head of 8-weight steers, feeding steers at Joplin Regional Stockyards, average $854, average price on all of them $195.34. On the heifers, 716 head of 4-weight heifer calves, average 453, weighted average price 223.70. 660 head of 5-weight heifers, average 547, average price 213.72. Very impressive. 641 head of 6-weight heifers, average 649, weighted average price 197.14, and 1,000 head of 7-weight heifers and Joplin, average 724, weighted average price 193.99. Few stick out deals. Callaway Livestock Center, Kingdom City, Missouri, sells 78 steers, weigh 661 at 259 and a quarter. Tina Livestock, being rural Missouri, on the northwestern side. My buddy Dwayne Penny commissions cattle into there, formerly at St. Joe Stockyards. He sells the Ed Crowley cattle there, including 69 steers, weigh 477 at 294 at Tina, Missouri. How about your Mackerson, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Elgin Livestock Sales in Elgin, Nebraska. That's my buddy Ted Baum there. He sells the Kevin Koenig steers there, 124 steers, weigh 987. That's scaring the hell out of 1,000 pounds at 196.10. Those cattle were Charolais Angus smokes. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.